Regina Winters Toussaint was a highly respected city planner and architect based in New Haven, Connecticut. A graduate of Harvard and Yale universities, she was appointed to high-level positions in city planning for New Haven. When she established her architectural firm in 2003, she was the only African-American woman to own an architecture and planning firm in the state of Connecticut.
She built consensus as an LCI director. She built consensus as an interim housing authority director, working in our firm with our clients and in our own firm.
The caring that she had for the community that we were working on. Neighborhood revitalization was one of her passions.
She had the highest professional standards, the highest personal standards. She's someone who's universally loved.
Regina Winters was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1969. She and her sister Renee were raised by their mother. Because of her academic excellence, Regina was selected to attend the prestigious George School in Pennsylvania. From there, Regina matriculated into Harvard University in 1987.
There had actually been, I think, a New York Times Magazine story on her coming off to college. I just found her to be an enjoyable person, never had a negative word to say about anyone.
After earning her bachelor's degree in visual and environmental studies at Harvard in 1991, Ms. Winters began a master's degree program at the Yale University School of Architecture.
She was artistically and from a design perspective immensely talented. So it's not surprising that she would go to one of the world's great architecture schools. But there are virtually no black women who go to Yale School of Architecture or any other architecture school. She was willing to take on challenges, and then she would excel at those challenges.
While attending Yale, Regina became one of the first counselors for LEAP, a new youth enrichment program in New Haven where she mentored young people living in public housing.
And she moved into the public housing with our other counselors to live there and to work with the children who lived there. She was at the pinnacle of academic success, who was giving over her summer not to working on Wall Street or with a major design firm, but to work in public housing with children. She, maybe more than anyone, built this culture of commitment to community.
While attending Yale, Ms. Winters was the founding vice president of the Yale chapter of the National Organization of Minority Architecture Students. After earning her master's degree in architecture in 1994, Regina made the decision to stay in New Haven and was eventually hired as the deputy for administrative services for the city of New Haven.
She oversaw all of our loan programs, all of our grant programs, all of our efforts to get big housing developments built over several years, and did an amazing job.
In the year 2000, Regina Winters was appointed by the mayor of New Haven to be the executive director of the Livable City Initiative.
Personal resources declined. People didn't have jobs all of a sudden. People didn't have, children didn't have things to do after school and in the summertime.
I think after a few years in city government, Regina wanted to get back to building a career as an architect. She also understood the importance of there being African-American women architects. And if she was one of the only African-American women architects in the country, then for her to not be doing architecture work actually meant something.
In 2003, Ms. Winters was offered the job of Director of Real Estate Development for the nonprofit NeighborWorks New Horizons, which helped revitalize New Haven neighborhoods.
I presented a bunch of ugly places, blighted, were nasty and brownfield and needed to be cleaned up. And that piqued her interest. She was the one that designed how the new block was going to be built. The transformation of places and providing quality of life to the residents and seeing children enjoying in the open space made her smile.
Regina Winters purchased a building in Fairhaven in 2003 and opened her own architecture and planning firm, Zaret Enterprises, where she focused on affordable housing, historic preservation, and adaptive reuse.
She was always looking for opportunities to mentor, and she was just so happy to be able to participate in those trainings that we did with nonprofits.
In 2003, Mayor John DeStefano asked Ms. Winters to step in as interim executive director to help stabilize the New Haven Housing Authority after a financial scandal.
She rebuilt public trust, reoriented the organization in such a way that it was focused on building opportunity for low-income families.
Regina also worked at the Kenneth Borison architectural firm in New Haven.
She was key in some of the projects that we presented. Regina worked at the Arlo project in Westville, so that was an artist housing. Regina worked on McConaughey Terrace with us, a affordable housing development. Regina also worked with us on Mary Wade Home. It took an extraordinary kind of personality and warmth and leadership to convince a community that was initially really against it to completely support it.
During the course of her career, Regina Winters also taught city planning at the University of New Haven, served as a trustee for the Connecticut Trust for Historic Preservation, and worked as a commissioner on New Haven's Board of Zoning Appeals. The final architecture project of Ms. Winters' career was the Dixwell Community House in New Haven.
Regina Winters was retained by the city to do basically the programming for the Q House. It was to lay out the Stetson Library, the Senior Center, the Teen Center, the gym, the commercial kitchen, the recording studio, the art classroom, the museum. Regina, at the onset of the project, had collected a series of African symbols that she thought were important to make sure they were on the building. And I think her spirit kind of lives here at the Q House. In 2023, we were awarded by the Connecticut Building Congress with our firm and Regina's firm, the most impactful community impact project in the state.
In October of 2014, Regina married Reverend Donald Toussaint in Stamford, Connecticut. After a short bout with cancer, Regina died on April 3, 2016, at the age of 47.
Regina was highly respected in the city of New Haven. I think her professionalism, her warmth, her strength, her ability to relate to people and to be empathetic was key to why she was so successful.
It was never about taking. The most important part for Regina was to give. And it's a gift that nobody or not many people have.